Hi, I'm Jerry Calloway. I'm an internal medicine specialist and addiction medicine specialist. I was asked, what is an alcoholic? It's interesting. Addiction is a genetic metabolic brain disease. Only 15% of the population has the gene, and the other 85% don't. They seem to more than make up in trouble for the numbers. It is truly a genetic disease. It's been studied that once it appears on one side of a family, 70% of the people in the family are going to have it, even if they're adopted at birth into a family that doesn't drink or use anything. In our society in the United States, I think it's more unusual to not activate the gene than to activate it. The average age we've discovered of people deciding to drink or not drink is 10 and a half now. That came out of social learning theory in Seattle, Washington. The Navy's definition was where it wasn't my 24 years of school that preceded it. It was actually the United States Navy that started teaching me about this. We're now teaching in American medical schools. There's core curriculums in addiction. The Navy defined it as persistence in the face of adverse consequences. Someone who has something bad happen and yet continues to use that substance, whether it's alcohol or the other drugs. It turns out there's only a single pathway in the brain. I don't even care anymore what someone's used in the past because there's artificial endorphins, tetrahydroisoquinones. If you want to know specifically, there'll be a short quiz later on this morning. Alcohol goes into it, opiates go into it, tranquilizers, THC. We think the stimulants also feed into that single pathway, so it doesn't really matter. I heard a 16-year-old in recovery one time comment that someone asked, what if I switched to marijuana? And the 16-year-old said, that's like switching deck chairs on the Titanic. For people that have the addictive gene, the problem is we know where it operates. It's not in the cortex. It's not in the thinking part of my brain. It's in the subconscious, the areas of the brain where my dreams come from. And I can't even remember the 4 episodes of dream sleep I have at night, much less control them. And that's the problem. By the time someone knows that they've turned it on, it's too late. It's already on, and it never shuts off. And it's bad enough having the stresses outside without having something in the subconscious trying to sabotage you and create enough stress that you go back to drinking. It's the only disease I know of that has a 100% death rate untreated. No cancer has that. What's hopeful is that there is treatment and that people get into treatment programs and get into 12-step programs or refuge recovery or the alternate programs. Their whole lives transform. They end up joyful, useful human beings instead of on a road. The people on the road with addictions, it's a slow, miserable death, and people tend to die alone. So if you have a family history of addictive genes, it would be really wise to let the family members know, because this is something people never talked about. And that's what's so hopeful now, is that we're more open about this. Thank you.